I just recently saw a trailer to a movie that will be coming out here in a few months called America. And what it is a hypothetical representation of what the world would be like if America did not exist. And it's interesting because the trailer starts off with some of the patriotic things that we do every day in America, like our VFWs or some of the sorts in parades and uh, and other things that symbolize America. And then it sort of cams out into the eye of George Washington, and when he's in the midst of a battle, and so and then it continues on a little bit as he and the Brits are charging each other. But then an interesting occurrence happens. It has George Washington being shot and killed on the field, and so the uh, the movie obviously takes on a tone of, okay, what if George Washington never became president? What if all those things that we were founded on never took place? What would happen if President Lincoln would have lost the war and there would be a South and a North? What would happen if Adolf Hitler would have had the atomic bomb before us? What if we had never landed on the moon? And all these things are they should really be internalized and pondered over, especially in today's world where we have some very, very extremist liberal views in the world, and how people tend to put down America and all that it stands for, and to sort of shun America for being so quote unquote prideful and a superpower in the world, and to feel like we are to be on a pedestal and on a moral and economic pedestal. And I think that just needs to be pondered and internalized, because what would happen if there was no America? How chaotic would the world be if we were not there in some of their skirmishes, uh, whether it be on a moral or economic ground, or if we have American interests? What would happen if we weren't there? What would happen if we had not deposed of Saddam Hussein? What would happen? What would happen if President Ronald Reagan did not instill the idea and the directive to have that Berlin Wall torn down? What would have happened? What would have happened if Martin Luther King did not take on his iconic mission to present civil rights? What would happen? Where would we be? And so, before we desecrate America and shame the United States for all it is and all that it has come to be and all that it feels it should be, maybe we should first take a look at what would happen if the United States wasn't even here. And once you do that, maybe you'll then have the opportunity to realize that, okay, it's possible that there is a higher design behind this than previously realized. Perhaps the United States, though mortal, though fraught with blood and anguish and corruption, perhaps the United States is designed to serve a higher purpose. And that is something that should be uh, deeply concerning as we move forward into this uncertain world. And I shudder to think of what it would be like without America, because it is through our capitalism, through our freedom and liberty, through our innovation that we have the ability to produce the anything from the light bulb to the computer, all this stuff. And although many of these innovations came from foreign lands, it is through the American enterprise that the world's inventions, all of them, have come to a fruition and a multiplication throughout the world and into every household on this globe. It is through the American way that these things have happened. And that is for inventors, for companies, capitalists, whether you are an American or not. It is still through the American consumer, the American enterprise, that enables prosperity for all those that engage in capitalism. And seeing this trailer from Dinesh D'Souza, he's the one producing this, but he has a very important and inspired idea that he's trying to get across. And and I've said it before, and it's what amidst all the turmoil and the people who are severely uneducated out there, what would happen if America wasn't here? It's interesting. You go out on the street, and a very small percentage of people are even aware that Russia has invaded Ukraine and went into Crimea. They are very unaware, and those that are aware of it, they, it's happening over there. It's got nothing to do with us. It can never have anything to do with us. We have no business interfering. We have no business being the policemen of the world. And so they just have no conscience, no concept of what our place is supposed to be in the world, what role the United States plays in the world. There are still people that defend the federal government and the massive infringements on the rights and liberties of the citizens of the United States. They defend it to their very dying breath because they are so uninformed, because they are so set on what they can get. And that brings me to another thing. That very famous quote from John F. Kennedy, where he says it's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country. That to me is a very inspired quote, even though he's a Democrat. But there's good and bad on both sides. I know that. But that is a very inspired quote. And that is something that, if it was proposed and said today, oh my gosh, he would not be president. Because, as it pertains to the uninformed citizen, a lot of these who are uninformed and those that don't care, they they have an existence that serves to receive from the government. They want to know what they can squeeze out. They want to know what they can qualify for. And they will actually strive to qualify for it. You know, there are many, many, many young ladies out there who literally get pregnant and have children because there is federal benefit from it. Whether it be your tax credit, whether it be the Women, Infant, Children, the WIC program, whether it be food stamps, it is a human tragedy, not too unlike the Holocaust, not too unlike abortion. It is a shameful thing to have people who will actually bring a child into this world so that they can have their own benefit from the government, something that they didn't even work towards. And I know this is sort of sidestepping, the movie America, but I want to show you where we are today. Where we are today is a very polarized. We have people who want to engage in the process of the world. They want to learn and understand world events. They want to learn and understand our American history and where we ought to be, where our founding is. And on the other side of the coin, we have people who are so misled into not just where America should be, but are so misled into who they are as a person. And that is even worse, because they have no patriotism whatsoever. And I've got no problem saying that. They have no concept, no scope or foundation or boundaries of what patriotism is supposed to be, what it means to be an American, what it means to earn by the sweat of your brow. And oh yes, you have the freedom and liberty to expand, grow, and prosper because of the foundations of this nation. And because the foundations of this nation serve to expand your possibilities as a human being. That's what makes the Constitution of the United States and the Declaration of Independence truly inspired material from our eternal God. And so, we have this segment out there that is growing exponentially, and a lot of them do exist in the inner cities for whatever reason, but they have such a dilapidated, such a suppressed concept of themselves, of their existence, that they see no benefit in their own personal growth. They see no benefit in being happy, because they have such a false sense of what happiness is. And so thereby they are grasping at straws. They are reaching out for any kind of happiness, and unfortunately that means immediate happiness. If they don't have the drive and the will to work for something, they need immediate happiness. And so obviously they look towards handouts. What's the government going to get me? What am I going to qualify for? How can I get this? Do I need another child? And so, going back to America, when it comes out, I hope it is viewed, because the trailer was just outstanding. And it's a movie that makes you think about what it would be like if America was not here.